So with 4.2 being out for a few days, today I'm here with my first impressions on all 4 of the buffed characters, being Firefly, Huohuo, Seele, and Welt. Originally, I was just gonna do Seele and Welt as they're like the only ones I care about, but I thought I would just compact them all into one video because why not? Firefly and Huohuo I'm gonna get through really quickly because there's not really much to talk about. However, for Welt and especially Seele, I got a lot to say, so let's see how long this will go for, but let's talk about it.
Stuck grinding in Honkai Star Rail? Need Stellar Jades fast? We've got you covered. Head over to U7 Buy, your ultimate gaming hub for save fast and cheap in-game top-ups. Whether it's Star Rail or your other favorite games, U7 delivers instantly and players love it. Check out their Trustpilot reviews, they're actually top ranked. On the Honkai Star Rail direct top-up page, you can recharge your account in seconds. For example, 8080 Honorific shards cost $99.99 in the official store. However, on U7 Buy, you can see the price is cheaper. When you head over to U7 Buy, you might notice that the storefront display prices currently match the in-game store, but don't worry, the magic happens at checkout. Once you click the Buy Now button, your total instantly drops to our actual discounted price only. Just pick your server, enter UID, pay securely, and boom, your account is instantly loaded. Want extra savings? Use code PRETSR at checkout for 5% off, perfect for last minute pulls, battle passes, or surprising a friend. And here's a bonus. If you spend $80 a month on U7 Buy, you can grab the Honkai Star Rail Express Pass for only 1 cent, which is nearly free. Click on the link in my description, recharge fast, save more, and keep blazing those trails.
So let's start it off with Firefly. So the changes Firefly got was now she's able to implant fire weakness to everyone that she is attacking, so all 3 targets rather than just the primary. Super break conversion is up to 150%. She's also able to delay the complete combustion end state in the action under bar, and also the E2 was changed to have the condition removed. I don't really know why she got buffed. Like, she got the Dahlia and then she was already performing good. E2 itself was still fine, but yeah, they kind of just took a step up. My whole idea was the fact that they were trying to make her less reliant on Dahlia, but these buffs really didn't change anything. You still want the Dahlia. I've mentioned multiple times in the past that she is just too loaded as a character to have anything replace her in any way, shape, or form. Like, even investment on your Firefly, while really high investment on the break team, especially after buff Firefly, can't do it. You can probably get the same, if not better results at probably like half the cost with just the Dahlia on the team. So yeah, nonetheless, nothing really changed. At every single investment you want the Dahlia, so I don't really know where they're going with this buff. The AoE fire implant is nice, so now you can just get the full conversion, and by conversion I mean toughness lowering. You also just do more damage because of the conversion to super break, that being increased. And if you have E2, you just have an unconditional 2 turns really, because you always really will be breaking. There's very few cases where you won't end up breaking in an attack, so yeah, you usually always will break and kill, so it's really just 2 extra turns. And that's really it. Like, she's just better than she already was slightly. Well, very much if you were E2. But yeah, she was already performing as like a top tier DPS because of the Dahlia. So yeah, the buffs kind of just took her from top tier to top tier. So that's why I don't really got much to say. Character still really wants E2. Character still really wants Dahlia. So yeah, again, I don't really know where they're going with this. Now for Huohuo, also don't really got much to say. Well, she did get a good amount of few changes. Her main problem was never fixed with needing damage reduction. So what they mainly changed was the Divine Provision. They extended it by 1 turn and even an additional turn if you have E1. So instead of 2 turns and then 3 turns if you have E1, it's 3 turns and then 4 turns if you have E1. Overall healing was also increased, and she could give a further attack buff if you had 160 max energy or more. Then if you had E1 besides the extra Divine Provision turn extension, you would also get 20% outgoing healing, which again is more healing but not any damage reduction, as enemies do hit really hard nowadays and are going to be getting exponentially harder because that's just kind of the nature of any game. Enemies will get tougher, not easier. That problem is going to get further exposed, so it is very unfortunate they didn't give her that, but otherwise that was really her only issue. Like, even pre-buff, I think her as a character was fine. It was just the damage reduction that was like the main part. So like, if she kind of already had something settled in that regard, I think she would actually be very, very much fine as a character, because she already kind of was. Like, healing was all right. The energy is really good when it's applicable. Attack buff was solid when applicable. And the E1 speed was nice. And now it's just all that, but more. Just unfortunately didn't address the issues. So it hasn't really changed her spot anywhere. She's gonna be like the best quote-unquote sustain for something like Evanescia until the Elation sustain. Same thing applies to Huohuo on the Silver Wolf team if you do have her E1 because of the speed buff. But inevitably, she's gonna get replaced by the Elation sustain anyways. So that's kind of like a temporary band-aid that they kind of did. And then when it comes to existing teams, teams, where she kind of already was competing with Permatatere Danning, it's still really the same thing. Like the teams where they were competing on, such as like Dot, she might be better on those teams, but she's still like not as much better than Danning, if not really at all. So this buff was also kind of sad. Like it does work. Like if you go into a battle where you're not going to die, like there isn't an enemy that's straight up going to kill you, and when she does work, it is very much fine. Energy buffs, again, when applicable, are good. Attack buffs, when applicable, are good. If you have 160 energy or higher, then she's able to apply even more attack now. If you happen to have the E1, even more healing, more skill point positive. So it works out in those cases. But as we do go on, enemies are just going to get harder and harder and harder and hit harder and be faster. So eventually there's going to be a point where, yeah, if you run a character that's super squishy on the team, which actually can happen still. A big example is Sparksy on Silverwolf's team. If you were to run the team of Silverwolf, Sparksy, Yao Guang, and then also Huohuo, there is a chance that if your Sparksy just gets toggled, good luck. That character is super flimsy, and as Huohuo doesn't have any means to kind of reduce the damage she takes. So if a single turn an enemy toggles Sparksy specifically, it's cooked, because Yao Guang at least has the HP or defense orb, Silverwolf has the HP defense planners, Huohuo herself has the HP orb, but Sparksy is purely offensive, so she's gonna have very low HP and also low defense. So yeah, unfortunately for Huohuo, I think, again, when applicable, fine. Otherwise, it's just going to fall off pretty quick, especially since on her teams, besides the temporary elation bandit, just isn't doing much. Now we talk about the man himself, Welt. Honestly, I didn't have faith in the game to even buff a standard in the first place, so the fact they ended up actually taking the character and making him pretty damn good, honestly, really broke my expectations. Now I have more hopes for future characters like Yanqing. Maybe they can actually revive him. But yeah, they really took an absolute useless garbage character, and I love Welt. He's one of my favorite characters in the game, but he is so worthless before this buff. Like, you just could not use this guy for it to even do anything, and actually made him quite good. As a general debuffer, he does work fine. His damage is very solid with good multipliers overall, and then also having the thing that Asheville does, but slightly more restrictive with the weightless state on enemies. 40% defense reduction, also being able to reduce enemy speed, and attacking enemies can delay them more, which actually makes him like a really good sustainless slot in. Being able to get attack based off effect hit rate, so getting more chances to apply the debuffs properly while also being built stronger, and also being able to increase your allies' damage percent as they attack enemies in the weightless state. So look, at base, he actually performs really good. As a hyper carry, he's way better now. As a actual just general debuffer, he's a good option. So like if you lose to him, you actually have a really good slot in really any team. Obviously not the ones that are like super set in stone like Elation, which is gonna be soon. Even there, he actually can kind of work as like a sustain the slot in, or like break specifically, but like on teams like really anything, again, like Anoxa teams, Dot teams, Buff Zelia teams, there's so many teams he can just go in. A lot of his values does actually lie behind E4 though, since his E4 makes the weightless state now have enemies that have their alt-type res reduced by 30%, which is absolutely absurd. Usually these things on limited character dupes are around 20%. This guy has 30% and it's on an E4, which is notorious for being a horrible dupe. That not only increases his potential as a general debuffer, makes him so much better in that role, but he actually becomes a really good DPS. Like this guy, I am pretty sure, I don't remember the exact calcs on the top of my head, but from performance wise, I am pretty sure he is competitive to a lower sided invested in before Cyrene Anoxa. Like I'm pretty sure like the Anoxa, Ceridra, and then like whatever team, assuming like E0, S0, E0, S1, I think Welt is actually straight up better than that. Once you do get Cyrene in the equation, then Noxa is better in every other situation. But the fact he can actually be compared to that is quite insane, considering right before that, he was probably just as good as like, I don't know, like any 1.x character that doesn't do good. Even with Super Break, I mean, that's mainly just wheelchair Dahlia anyway, so she can do that with a lot of characters. So yeah, the fact that buffs actually made him perform as good as a 3.x character with almost his full team, while also just having a good debuffer role that is as good as the 3.x/4.x level, especially if you do have that E4, has been such a nice change. Running this guy has been really fun. I am trying to get mine on a full hybrid eagle set. Like I'm trying to get him on a full hybrid build between being DPS and also support at the same time. So I'm running eagle, pan, cosmic, trying to get as much speed with the good crit ratio. It's really hard. Recon hasn't been too kind to me, but I will try to do it, and I cannot wait to see the results out of it. And finally, Seele. So I didn't really think I was going to have this much of a blast with her, but oh my god, bro, this character is so fun. I always used to love using her. Like, she was my most used and the character I use everywhere for all of 1.x and also early 2.x. That's kind of like where like my fell off began because I just couldn't continue to use her. I wasn't as much of a crackhead as some of the Seele mains that made her zero cycle for all this time. But after the buffs, it's so back. Unfortunately, her buffs aren't like insane. Like, they're good, but I can definitely see her struggling a lot more quickly, kind of similar to like Jinglu and Blade. I don't want to say at that extent because I feel like these buffs helped her out a lot, and especially with how her resurgence works, she can actually end up doing so much damage in such little time, and all the setups, especially with Saridra. I think she's set up a lot better than Jinglu and also Blade's buffs, but also I don't think her buffs are at the tier of like Welt, Silverwolf, Kafka. But everything she got is still good. The multiplier increases, the fact that she also can do an extra skill that doesn't consume skill points when anyone on the team attacks someone with 50% or lower HP, which also can proc Saridra's coup de main. The also enhanced traces where she's able to just get more damage. Her being in the amp state providing res pen is also good for quantum, and the very bit of Eidolon changes she did get was also nice. I really find it annoying that E1 still has the HP lower than 80% for the enemies you're attacking requirement, because like it is a 1.0 character, but this is a 4.x buff. Just remove the requirement, bro. And then the next change would be to the actual E6, where the butterfly flurry effect is no longer a small percentage of quantum additional damage based off her ult, but rather 30% true damage based off her ultimate damage. And the best part is an ally attacking and triggering it, if that flurry effect does kill, it gives Seele the resurgence proc. Before, it didn't do that. Oh my god, it's so much better now, dude. It's actually insane. The amount of stuff you can do, especially with the extra skill attacking 50% or less, plus the butterfly flurry stuff for enemies. If an enemy was knocked down by an ally attacking and proccing that flurry effect, it's just so good, bro. It's so fun. Like, I actually just had a revelation. Like, I was like, yeah, it's not gonna be that great, and then I started using her and just had more fun and more fun and more fun. She is probably my third favorite DPS in the game to use now. I really hope that she is able to hold on for a long time because she is just so fun to use. I really don't like separating her from Saridra because Saridra just enables so much fun stuff with her, especially with that, again, 50% or lower gets an extra skill proc. The stuff you can do is insane. I am by no means a very skilled or even a skilled Seele player. Like, I'm very outdated with knowledge when it comes to actually playing her. I only necessarily know how to properly build her and use her to an effective extent, but I don't know the crazy stuff you can do, so I am going to try my best to learn the crazy stuff you can do, but that's also going to be very much dependent on builds, which I am probably not going to focus on. But I did end up re-rolling her a Glamoth Orb, which rolled 2 times in a crit rate, 2 times in a crit damage, 1 flat attack, and got her a Rope, which also rolled 2 times crit rate, 2 times crit damage, so that's also very nice. I'm aiming to replace her boots. I'm trying to get her a great build because she is just so fun. I am actually really satisfied with these buffs. I do wish they did give her more though and didn't kind of not do too much, because technically they didn't really do too much as opposed to others. But yeah, I can't wait to keep using this unit. She is so damn fun. Anyway, that is my first impressions on all 4 units. As you can tell, for Firefly, I'm kind of just like, why? For Huohuo, kind of disappointed, but like, is what it is. Well, I'm very satisfied. I'm also satisfied, so that's kind of how it is. But comment down below if you guys are using any of these characters with their buffs. How do you feel about them? If you found this video enjoyable, dropping a like would be greatly appreciated. If you're new to the channel or haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell for future videos like this, along with all other types of style content. And I'll see you later. Peace out.